welcome back to another Black City Coffee vlog. So in this video I wanted to share some of the unexpected things that I learned in the time that I've been roasting, which is a good, 3 years or something like that. Okay, so in no particular order, here's some unexpected things that I learned. Number one, the coffee industry is just like many other industries, as I'm finding out. There's so many parallels. Like, for example, the biggest problem for owners and operators like me was systems. I can attest to that in our wedding photography business, and when I talk to other business owners that are in other industries, anything having to do with service or anything, actually, any business ever. And this has been really backed up in books and just, talking to other people, other business owners. Systems, database management, management of team and systems is a big thing itself. You can kind of break down business into three realms, which is visionarying, founding, and then actually doing the work, tactician, roasting the coffee, labor, right? And in the middle is kind of a really big deal, which makes both of those things work and actually scale and actually make money and profit and be here for a long time and actually be a business. What I would define as business is management and systems. And yeah, it seems to be a problem for everybody. So in that regard, I don't feel bad about still not mastering that part of our business in any industry that I've tried. So the reason why I say this is because, we were looking at coffee coming from a wedding photography perspective and going, the grass is greener over there. It's just a product. It's not us trading time for dollars. And in the end, you're always going to trade time for dollars in a way. And then in some cases in coffee, give it away for free. The grass is not always greener. Every industry, every business, every section of business, I talked about the visionary and founding, the management and systems, tactician, labor, all have their similar parallel struggles. And the reason why they're all the same in every industry, wherever you go, don't think that the grass is always greener, because what's behind all of that? Humans. Humans, we are the common denominator in all of that crap. So expect to deal with human issues, right? Not necessarily bad or good or whatever it is, just human. So I think it was really naive of us to go and look at coffee and be like, coffee will, we weren't that naive, but we were like, maybe that's the answer for us, right? That was the perspective before. Maybe coffee can be the answer for us, and maybe it is for you. So it's not that I'm discouraging you as I make this video to not discover that your truth. I want you to discover your truth and own all of your decisions and all that stuff. But I think it helps to hear that reminder if you're watching this video, I know some of you are thinking about jumping into coffee business like I did. And I think it helps to think about all these things if you haven't already. Okay. Number two, there's a hierarchy. There's a clique going on. As with any industry, like I said, this is a very nothing's different. There are cliques. There's cliques. In that, what I mean by that is that there's the cool people group. There's the high-end spenders. There's the people like me who are like, I don't care about money, but I do care about aesthetics. There are people who just care about nothing about aesthetics. People who want to build their own machine, right? Roast it like this, and love to all those people, all those cliques. But there's cliques. I was like, well, where do I fall? And I wouldn't worry too much about, how to join a tribe. I would worry so much about just being yourself and letting yourself kind of nestle into whatever tribe kind of suits you, I guess, but not to be married so much to one tribe or another. Because what happens then is sort of a political shadow that can kind of taint things. We're all here to love coffee and do our best with coffee and share that with people that we love and stuff like that. So I think as long as you keep to that, you're honest, you're fair, you're respectful, it doesn't matter kind of where you lie or where you know, kind of hang your hat or put your flag up or whatever it is. But I would love that coffee not become political the way that a lot of things have become political. But I could see how it could easily go that way. Why? Because the common denominator behind all of this is humans. But just something I observed and I was like, huh, okay. And I did. I had to kind of like figure out who I am, where do I fall or something, like, is there a category for me? And I just was like, I'm gonna let all that stuff go. I'm gonna just do what I do, not worry about it. I think it's less pressure, it's more fun, and it's more you. Number 3, there are rules in roasting coffee and in coffee and blah, blah, blah. And we can get really attached to our rules. Rules are kind of like a tribe and can be political in a way, or, you know, like there's a right way to do stuff. And I certainly wholeheartedly believe in some rules, and that's the way I do it. But I also, it doesn't mean that there's not room for other people and how they do it, you know. I think that's the most important thing. So there are rules. You can break them. You know, specifically I'm talking about coffee roasting, even brewing your own coffee, right? Even brewing your coffee, buying your coffee, where you buy it. Rules are there for a reason. I think rules are very good. I've said this over and over. They're there to guide. They're there as a starting point. But you can definitely break them, bend them, make up your own, whatever suits you, okay? Like Rayo is in general correct. My only qualm with his words or his teachings or or his books, I'll just say his books, is that they come off like laws or scripture. Because I think there should be room for, or there should at least be, I guess, this encouragement that there's room for your interpretation. Encouragement. I'm not trying to give like everybody a participation trophy. I'm just saying that I interpret it, and that's probably my fault. I interpret it like scripture before. And that's my fault. So it's not Rayo's fault, it's my fault for interpreting it that way. But I think you could help others out who are kind of clueless like I was just 2 years ago, 3 years ago, with a more encouraging language. All right, sorry. Not sorry. I can go into that a little bit more because I really don't want to knock what he did because it was a place to start. Okay, let's for another video. Number 4, mastering good coffee takes a couple of things. I'm not a master, okay, but I'm observing, and this is what I feel will bring you to that kind of level. And it's not mastering like I'm done. It's more like on the track of mastering. So mastering good coffee in your realm, in your world, okay? So that's the big context of which we are speaking in. So my mastering of my coffee is in this little world here. Roasting at home for friends and family and myself. Cool. You know, mastering coffee for me, in my own definition, doesn't mean winning awards, doesn't mean selling X amount of pounds per week or whatever. It no longer includes those kinds of attention-getting, entrepreneurial goals. My definition of mastering coffee for me now means I understand my machine completely. Like I know how it works in a pretty good way, and I know how to get it to do and roast coffee the way that I like it and the way that I want to present it to my customers and friends and family. That's it. It's really simple now, right? So now it's not about making a lot of profit or whatever. In general, I think if you can understand your machine, you understand all the bells and whistles, maybe it has a few little hiccups like the environmental temperature is a little off. Okay, fine. So we just adjust for that or compensate for that in our roasting. For example, what I mean by that is like, the thermometer is reading 450, but in actuality it's 380. Okay, so we make that adjustment, right? And as long as you know how your machine works, right? Whether it's electric or it's gas, or you're hooked right into the wall for natural gas, not, like propane versus natural gas. I think there's a difference for sure. Your capacity of your drum, all that stuff. You're on the way to mastering coffee in your world. Bringing that information to the cupping table, being able to cup coffees, and being able to taste what you are roasting. I think that's a big one too. So understanding your machine, being able to taste what you're actually roasting, and then duplicating that, being consistent, repeating it over and over again because you know how to do it, not because it's a fluke every time and you're like, finally, I got a good one. And then the next time it's not so good. So knowing exactly why you're hitting certain markers in the roast and you know how to get there again, okay? And even if something goes wrong, you know how to get there again. So I think that's more like getting on the track to mastering coffee in your own world. Number 5, you really have to, when I finally kind of got over myself, you really have to taste and have an appreciation for all levels of roasting. I've said this a little bit before, which is like I came in the very beginning of roasting, like I'm only going to roast light because I feel like that's the way it should be consumed. Yeah, like I was one of those, I mean, I still feel that way inside for me, like that's that's how I define good coffee for me and how I want coffee to be served to me. But for others, I'm much more open and appreciative, and respectful that other people are gonna like really dark coffees, and some people even like really like maybe even underdeveloped, what I what I would define as underdeveloped, and everything in between. So everything from light, medium to dark, and then there's nuances within light, medium, and in dark. Make sense? Even beyond that, like me trying to roast all of the wacky, weird, processed coffees, overhyped coffees, like it's still on my list to roast some Hawaiian coffee, even though it's really hard to justify like $40 for a pound of green or some crap, whatever they charge. Underhyped, right? Like this anaerobic process, I think is amazing, but not everybody likes that, so cool, fine. Washed, double washed, natural honey, black honey, yellow honey, white honey. There's all kinds of stuff now, right? The whole spectrum, being really open to it and really appreciative that there are all types of coffee levels and roast levels and not coffee levels, coffee species and processes and things like that. And now really looking at coffee as this like, I don't know, open world game. So much to explore, and I'm like level 10. In a level 100 sort of scheme, okay? You don't have to love everything, but I think it's a good practice to appreciate everything. Number 6, you're going to move through a lot of coffee, meaning that you're going to roast a lot of coffee, right? And you're going to fail a lot. And you're going to waste coffee, or at least you're going to feel like you've wasted. Yeah, that's just part of the game. Like, that's what it is. It's going to take you some time to understand how roasting works. And if you mess it up, you're going to have to do it again, right? Because you want to serve the best that you can serve. Or it's undrinkable even. That sucks too. What maybe we need to remind ourselves, like, yes, it's so precious how coffee is processed and all of that stuff. And it's a painful process to hand pick ripe cherries off the thing. Be grateful that you don't have to do that. Respect that. That's their role. If you're fortunate enough to be born in a first world country where you're the one roasting it, you're the one bringing it to other people to drink, understand like everybody has their role, and you don't need to feel, you don't need to feel guilty. We're really good, like, we can be really good at punishing ourselves. I just feel like that's an added stress you don't need to feel guilty about wasting. I feel like if your goal is to roast the best coffee, you're learning, you're trying to get to that spot where you're trying to serve the best coffee, and this is just the road it takes, right? So while we may feel guilty about wasting something where we messed up or something on a roast, I don't know, in whatever way, thinking that you failed that roast that you just did or whatever it is, it's too dark, it's too light, it's underdeveloped, it's flat, it's baked. Try your best. That's all you can really do. As humans, right? The only thing that we can do is try our best. Do better on the next one. And then you can try not to waste that coffee that you feel like you messed up on or wasted. Cold brew, give it away to friends and family, little gifts, whatnot, But in the end, just do your best. You know how hard it took for this green, if you're buying expensive green or whatever it is. Even if it's not expensive, it took time or whatever to get to you. But you're an important part of the chain of making sure that these farmers who are painstakingly picking this coffee, harvesting this coffee, even have money because you're part of that chain. So every part of the chain is important, and there's no need to feel bad or guilty or whatever. Just do your best as a roaster, as a coffee dealer, right? Like I'm a coffee dealer. Where's my hat? I don't know where my hat is. As a roaster, as somebody who also loves and respects coffee, just do your best and understand that waste, shrinkage, straight up burning your coffee or whatever it is just part of the process. It's okay. You don't have to feel guilty. There was plenty of times where I was like just putting too much guilt on myself, which I think that's not good and not healthy. Number 7, last one. I didn't expect things that I learned with roasting coffees that I didn't expect to change or revolve so much in my own life philosophy. Coffee really humbled me in a way. Like I said, I came into coffee thinking like, I'm going to make it the way it's supposed to be done. Like, who am I to say that? It's just, so stupid. Whatever. Like, I got humbled not only by roasting coffee, messing up, feeling guilty, really trying not to screw up and waste coffee. Like, I want to get this right. I want to learn, right? And I went through all of that. And then also you just going through my fall and being like, bro, that is such small potatoes. I could die tomorrow, or I could have died and all of this would have been, nothing. Why am I worrying? Why am I stressing so hard? I should always just approach this not in fear of like, oh, I want to get this right. I don't want to waste this coffee. More like in love. Like, I can't wait to roast this coffee. I can't wait to see what I can learn, bring out, enhance. If I don't do something that I had like with a particular roast, like if I don't roast it to how I wanted to roast it, I go, okay, cool. Like, this is still positive. I'm still learning something, and never feeling like I'm wasting. Never feeling like I'm wasting or I'm putting myself in a negative place, a toxic mindset as I'm learning and going through coffee, selling coffee, getting out of the business. It just really taught me how to do my best, let go what doesn't serve me. I don't need to feel a certain way about anybody or anything. I just need to do me and share that with you guys, and the people who resonate with that, you're here, and that's great. And it's really healthy. And I think it allows me to learn even faster because I talk about it online, right? So, which in turn maybe helps you learn faster. So it's a really cool positive cycle of learning, coming from a place of love and compassion, understanding, respect versus fear of waste, fear of like, whatever. I had so much fears. and it's so cool that I unexpectedly learned how to be more compassionate and humble through coffee roasting, and diving into this world of coffee. So that's cool. Anyway, so that's what I learned unexpectedly. Let me know in the comments, like, are you vibing with any of these other lessons as you're going through your roasting journey at home? Like, I'd love to know. Anyway, we'll get into it. You know, like I think it's so cool when you get into a new hobby. Like I'm getting into shooting, and that's what sort of spurred this video. I was like, I'm learning so much about shooting right now, and I'm like, man, this is so cool. Like even in the gun industry, it's really similar. In coffee, it's really similar in wedding photography, and that's what kind of like sparked this video. And I thought, I love those types of videos where it's like, yeah, but tell me the things that people aren't really like hyped about. I'm always interested in the unpopular, what everybody else is not talking about, especially in coffee. And I think it's really important though, because I know that so many people in coffee world, when I talk to them about these little more like qualitative things about coffee, this sort of, besides all of the technicality of stuff, the technicality, the specs, the product, there's this undercurrent of human behavior, psychology, feels that is, I think, super interesting as well. So yeah, hope you enjoyed that, and we will see you in the next one. The next one, I promise, we'll talk about some pricing stuff. Okay? Questions. We'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.